we've conducted the survey. We've completed that in June. 20,500 kilometers of seismic, which is a pretty extraordinary amount of seismic. No security incidents, no HSE incidents, so very successful. We're now processing that data, again, a lot of data, so processing takes a bit of time. We hope to complete that by the end of this year, early next year.
And what are your expectations?
Well, the process is once you've finished taking the data through all of the processing steps, then you do interpretation. And we're hopeful, very hopeful, that at the end of that, interpretation will point out areas where we have accumulations or what we call prospects that are of sufficient size to warrant development. They have to be a large accumulation because we're in pretty deep water, and so it'll cost a lot of money to develop it, so we really need a large accumulation to be economic.
To what extent are you concerned about the security situation in Somalia?
Well, I think the fact that we've been able to acquire the 20,500 kilometers with no incidents, 100 days at sea, 10 vessels actually, is testimony that with proper planning it can be done safely and securely.
What are the terms of your agreement with the Somali government?
The terms are that under the seismic option agreement we were obligated to try to collate the existing data, both geological and geophysical, which because of the conflict most of that data had been lost to the government. So we secured as much data as we could around in the industry, put it into what we call the modern digital platform so that it could be analyzed more quickly and more completely. That was phase one. Phase two was the acquisition of the 2D seismic that we've just completed and then delivery to the ministry of the processed data set, which as I indicated earlier will probably happen late this year, early next year.
Now there have been reports that modifications were made to your agreement with the Somali government. What revisions were made?
In April of this year, as a result of the conversations that we'd had subsequent to the time the seismic option agreement was put in place, we recognized that they needed some additional support in terms of capacity development, human resource development inside the ministry to get experienced geologists, geophysicists, and engineers into there so they could help understand the data that we were developing.
And in the long term, do you intend to expand operations into other neighboring countries?
No, our focus is solely offshore Federal Republic of Somalia. It's the size of the North Sea, and it has one well. So that's quite enough for us at the moment.